Hey guys, welcome to Fred TMK Gaming. My name is Fred and this is the E-25 new German Tier 7 tank destroyer. This is a great tank. This is really a great tank. Don't think of it as a classic TD. It's not. Definitely not. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if we have a look at the stats, we can clearly see that this thing is amazingly fast. 75 kilometers an hour, that's just for a tank destroyer rocket fast. We've got a 700 horsepower engine, so we're gonna reach that speed limit quite easily and even exceed it going downhill, because this thing only weighs 26.3 tons, so it's quite light. We can easily compare this thing to the VK2801 in regards to speed and mobility. In fact, let's just bring up both of them. VK stats and E-25 stats. So we have 27 tons for VK and 26 tons for the E-25. So it's actually lighter than a light tank. So we have a 650 horsepower engine for the VK and a 700 horsepower engine for the E-25. So it has also a more powerful engine. So it's going to reach its speed limit, 65 kilometers an hour, better than the VK reaches his 60 kilometers an hour. Now, armor-wise, you can also compare those two, so don't expect the E-25 to bounce that much or even anything, because I mean, it does have some nice angles, some nice sloping going on there, but again, it's only 50 millimeters, and that's not good enough. That's just not good enough for Tier 7. So, of course, if you're lucky and someone shoots right there from that kind of angle, maybe you can bounce shots. You can bounce some shots, but don't rely on it. And that's. But the good thing is, this thing doesn't need its armor because it has an entirely different playstyle. It doesn't rely on its armor. But let's keep looking at the stats for the moment. The gun, yes, very important. It's a TD after all. It needs an effective gun. So what do we have? We have the 7.5 centimeter Stuck L70. Now this gun is known from the where is it? Here is it. The Stuck 3. But it does have its differences. Let's bring up the E-25 again and its gun. So obviously the caliber is the same, 75 millimeters, but its rate of fire. This is the Stuck's gun, 13.3 to 15.8. And now look at this, 20 rounds a minute. This thing has a reload of 3 seconds. But that's not the only difference. If we compare the accuracy, for example, we have 0.3 with the E-25 and 0.33 with the Stuck. And the Jagdpanther and the Jagdpanzer IV. But, so again, we have better accuracy, and we also have better aiming time, 1.5 seconds to 1.7 seconds. So yeah, it's basically a buffed version of the standard Stuck L70 gun. And it has to be, because after all, it's Tier 7. So we're going to meet Tier 9 tanks occasionally. So yeah, we have 710 meters of signal range at Tier 7, that's not bad. Tier 6 radio, but okay. And 360 meters of view range, and that's actually not bad. The Dicker Max has 400, but it's a much taller machine. The 88 only has 330. And if we compare the sizes of these two vehicles, you can see that the 88 is actually taller than the E-25, and that's why this 360 meters of view range is actually very good. So you can spot with this machine. Now, maybe you're asking yourself why I compared a tank destroyer to a light tank. That's why the playstyles are very similar, because as I mentioned, this isn't a real tank destroyer. You can more imagine a light tank without a turret, and you got the E-25. And that's how I play it, and that's, I think, how it should be played. It's a lot of fun. It's very fun to play, I really have to say. Now, of course, you could go ahead and compare this to other tier 7 tank destroyers, but I don't think it would make any sense, because again, this isn't a real tank destroyer. So I think it's pointless to compare this. As for crew skills, you can see I only have 85% of crew skill trained. I would go with repairs for the entire crew, possibly, because you really want to get the tracks up when you get tracked by enemies, because speed, this is what keeps this tank alive. Yeah. Camouflage, you don't want to use that, because again, you're not going to sit in the bushes like a classical tank destroyer. Maybe for this thing, even radio operator skills for the commander are better, because you can have things like view range, and you don't really need sixth sense and eagle eye, so you could use that. As for the gunner, repairs first. I almost always go repairs first, but that's useless. That's also useless. You don't have a turret. It's difficult. You could use Dead Eye. Maybe Dead Eye, but repairs first. As for the driver, repairs first. Off-road driving, of course. Smooth ride. Oh, no. Not smooth ride. Again, you don't have a turret, you're not going to fire on the move that often. So, clutch braking and off-road driving is probably the best. And the loader. Yeah. Repairs, and doesn't really matter. Nothing what you really would need. And you could also go with Brothers in Arms for the whole crew. Yeah. But generally, I'm not a big fan of this, because you're gonna need to take this as your first perk, and that means you can't have repairs. And as I said, I like repairs as my first skill with almost every tank. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Brothers in Arms, because if you take this as your second skill, it's gonna take forever to get to 100%, and then it's completely useless. So yeah, that's that. Another thing you might notice is that I do have I'm not a big fan of using my regular TD crews in my premium TDs or premium tanks in general, because it's just, I like that every tank in my garage has its own crew. It does have its advantages, of course. If you can, if there are certain events running with ×3 crew experience, of course it can be useful to just swap them and then get this experience bonus again. But you know, I'm not generally doing this. You can see it here in my Löwe, this is a Löwe crew, so it's pretty well trained, and you know, I like it like this. It's probably the best crew in my garage. So yeah, so that's that. But back to the T25, E25, sorry. So equipment-wise, generally I say if a tank can fit a gun rammer, fit a gun rammer. But you know, with the 3 seconds of reload, I don't think this gun rammer is really necessary. Because you know, 10%, eh, maybe, you know, but I think you could go with something else in this case. Ventilation, always good. I would take this. Camouflage net again. It's not a real TD, so I wouldn't go with camouflage net. Coated optics, you know, that could be good. Aiming speed, you don't need that. And yeah, the third slot, mostly what you prefer. You could use a toolbox, of course. That could always come in handy. Yeah. Load capacity, not really. Yeah. So that's that. Equipment. Ammunition wise, I'm using mostly AP. I got a decent amount of APCR loaded up for you know, tier 7 heavies or even tier 8 tanks. You're gonna need these. These gonna be quite useless, and some HE rounds just to decap, nothing special. 75 millimeters HE shells. They aren't going to do a lot of damage, so just for decap purposes. Consumables, repair, first aid, fire extinguisher, just standard, nothing special. I don't think you should. Maybe you could use some gasoline instead of the fire extinguisher, because this thing actually has rear transmission. Yay! A German tank with rear transmission. How great is that? So you could actually go with gasoline instead of a fire extinguisher, because it's not going to catch fire the second it gets hit in the front, which other German tanks tend to do. I'm not a big fan of any premium consumables, so I wouldn't recommend them. Yeah, that's that, pretty much. Hit points 830. Yeah, not bad for tier 7, but not very good either. Nothing spectacular here. Yeah, I think that covers it up pretty good. Let's have a look at some games. So this is a tier 7 matchup. So no tier 8s. That's good for a start. Yeah, so let's see how this thing rolls. You might notice I'm using some mods, Jimbo's Crosshair mod, for example. Also a contour mod made by myself. Some other things I'm going to link in the description of this video. And yeah, so let's see what this thing can do. I'm kind of just, you know, waiting till everyone's getting into position and making sure that no light, like the T50 or some medium is trying to get over here. It actually has quite a good gun depression, as you can see. See, if you look from the sides, that's not bad, you know? That's a pretty good position. If someone's coming up there, you're going to have the upper hand on them. But here's nothing really happening. So I'm gonna decide to do something else in a second. So I'm thinking, screw it, let's do something else and see how this thing accelerates. That's just crazy. That drives like a light. It really drives like a light tank. It really does. Yeah, that's a corner. It's really, really fast and mobile. Does have a good gun arc left and right. And it's so small, it's so flat. You're not gonna get hit by anything that easily. And watch this. 50 kph up the hill, up the bridge. They aren't even noticing what's hitting them. I'm firing on the move, but downhill this thing goes 75. T50 bounces me. Well, he doesn't have a big gun, so okay. That doesn't say anything about its armor. But you think I know what I want. This thing plays like a scout, and now I'm basically playing like a scout. I'm playing like a scout, hunting for the arty, and here they are. Blam! 3 seconds. Dead. Number 1. Oh, hey M41. This is just amazing. This is just amazing. 3 seconds and boom. Absolutely monstrously fun. This thing really plays like a light tank. It's so good at it. You can outmaneuver even some mediums at tier 7. It's just crazy. It's just so much fun to play. You can dodge shells, hunt artillery, scout, passive scout if you want. You can also passive scout, of course. If you put some camo on it, you can do this, but you know, I wouldn't use it for that, but you can. It's probably it probably does have a good camo rating. That's that. Last enemy. And do I get the kill? Do I get the kill? Get damage. And I do get the kill. So that's that. So this is another match I played on Lakeville, again, tier 7 matchmaking. Yeah. So at the beginning I'm just trying to keep the center safe, you know, the center road, so that no one can rush over it. Yes, that doesn't work, I know. So I'm doing something that you know, generally it's not a good idea in this tank, but I'm doing it in this case because I've got different plans, as you're gonna see. So I'm just kinda waiting here for enemy targets to be spotted, because again we have 360 meters of view range. That's not bad at all. So we can spot enemies ourselves. On the other side of that lake, probably, hopefully. So yeah, and there's the first Tiger P. Now watch that gun just dishing out shot after shot. 3-second reload, that's just crazy. I'm bouncing from the Tiger P's front, but you know, he's got 200 millimeters of armor, so not surprised there. That's a miss. Some blind firing. Just kind of spamming the bullets. Got a hit there. That one misses. So yeah, it doesn't look that good, to be honest. Enemy capping. Many enemy heavy tanks in the town. So I decide, screw this. And you know what's coming? because I'm going to go for a hunt. Oh yeah. Zippity zippity zoo. This thing is just so much fun. So fast. Rolling over these ridges. Oh, and there's a T-25 AT. Did he see me? Did he spot me? We don't know. Yes, he did. But I'm going to be around that corner before he can fire a second shot. His reel is too long for that, and there is the first artillery. M41. One shot, 3 seconds. 2 shot. Goodbye. And where's the birch gun? There it is. Hello, birch gun. 1 shot. This is some serious light tank gameplay. This is a light tank. This is really a light tank. This is a light tank in 2D mode. KV-1S. Gonna take that. And the Panzer 38. Yeah. I didn't even need to fix my tracks. And he's down. So yeah, 4 kills, just rushed through, still on 100%. This thing is just amazing. Friendly ELC is drowning. Now I'm gonna take on the T-25 AT. Spoiler, I'm gonna die. Well. Missed my first shot. The crash detracked him. Can't quite get around him in time, and now he got me. I'm not fixing my track, it's pointless. I'm dead. But yeah, it was a win in the end, so I'll take it. So this is the last game I played in the E-25, and in this case, I was really trying to use it as a classical TD, which isn't really a good idea, as you're going to see. So that you have an example how not to play this tank. So yeah, there's pretty much a lemming train going off to those to the cap on the right flank. So I'm just trying to overwatch the magical forest, and there are already trees falling, so there are some enemies going to come. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that this flank is not going to get overrun. So yeah, let's see what happens. This is again T7. So just kinda looking where my friendlies are standing, and you know, if I can expect some support fire from them. So there's the first VK. Now I have to turn my tank, miss again. And there was a tree or something in between, a house. So yeah. This didn't really work out, and I don't know how much he spotted. No, we only have a KV-2 behind us, an 88 that is AFK, and a light tank. Yeah. So again, just standing here, making sure that no one's going to fall in here. Going to flank the attacking force on the right side, which is actually making quite a good progress. There's another light tank. Actually, it's the same. Now I'm turning my tank, but now he's definitely spotted me. I hit him, and now I'm getting pummeled from behind. Kind of chasing him because I know I have enough speed. So he gets killed.
One of our tracks is damaged.
And now there's a KV2. Aiming for that weak spot, lower glaciers. That's not angled. The rest of it is pretty much angled, so not very good chances of penetrating there. Again, just staying put. And the tank doesn't shine at this. It really doesn't shine. Panzerfahr would be better now. Jagdpanzerfahr. Now the T-21 is deciding to scout a little, and an M5A1. And I bounced to steer it. Well, and here's the IS-2. Again aiming for the weak spot, missing. It does have a pretty good DPM, but you know, it doesn't have any armor. Here he comes. Managed to put one into him, and now he spotted me. And that's it. Killed by an AT-2 behind him. I think he was actually firing HE, because he killed my gunner and didn't take me out. So yeah, that's that. Don't play the tank like this. Don't do it. It's not gonna work. Alright, so that's the E-25 German Tier 7 premium tank. Tank destroyer. Tank destroyer, light tank in TD mode, as I prefer to call it. It costs 7,600 gold. I think it's definitely worth it. It's so much fun. I had lots of fun in it, and I'm going to have a lot of fun in it. And you know, if you play it right, really just like a light tank, this thing is just great fun to drive, and it's really good. It can be really good, as you saw in the replay, especially on Lakeville. Now I know this wasn't particularly skilled or good gameplay on my side, but you know, I think the tank can do well in these situations. So definitely a recommendation. Go ahead, buy one of these. Unless you hate light tanks, then I wouldn't recommend it to you. Yeah, if you're looking for a classical, well-armored TD, don't buy this one. Buy this one instead, AT-15A. But yeah, I think that covers it up pretty much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you liked. There is definitely going to be more of this kind, more content. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and bye bye.